Imagine waking up early to the sounds of birds chirping and Mayan women singing while they make tortillas from scratch. The smell of copal resin incense wafts through your open window. You walk through the Mayan village, and it is so magical to see the colorful baskets full of fresh local avocados, limes, papayas, and mangoes. You see artisans selling jewelry, paintings, instruments, and hand woven fabric. After a week of 70s and sunny, perfect weather, you understand why Guatemala is nicknamed the land of eternal spring. What is up, my witches? Welcome to the Queer Soul Alchemy podcast, a supportive community helping queer folks to embrace their authentic selves by exploring yoga, astrology, and spirituality. I'm your host, Lee Davey. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. I'm your host and favorite queer NB priestess, Lee Davey, a 500-hour certified yoga instructor, 600-hour certified Ayurvedic health counselor, and transformational yoga retreat facilitator. And I am so stoked to be talking about my favorite place on earth once again today, Guatemala. Oh, let me tell you guys, I've been to several different countries, but I keep going back to Guatemala because it's my favorite. I've been there 3 times already, and it doesn't get old. The first time I went by myself, I was backpacking for 2 months there, solo, at 22 years old, and I absolutely fell in love. So since then, I've gone back twice, and I've brought groups with me both of those times. And in this episode, I'll share an overview of this unique and adventurous retreat experience, our detailed retreat itinerary, and how you can travel with me to this magical place for a yoga retreat this coming January 30th to February 5th, 2027. But first, new episodes of this podcast are posted every Wednesday to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please make an offering to the algorithm gods by leaving the show a like, a comment, and a 5-star review if you really want to appease the gods and help your fellow queer spiritual seekers find this magic. Then please comment the name of your favorite pop diva or queer icon. And don't miss out on exclusive access to my free self-care resource guide, which I've specifically curated for you to support your journey with spirituality. To download this guide and be the first to know about upcoming queer yoga retreats and events, please sign up for our email newsletter at yourloved.one/pod. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Guatemala Yoga Retreat 2027, Authenticity, Empowerment, and Adventure with Lee Davey and Queer Soul Alchemy. Third time is the charm, you guys. This is our 3rd time running this retreat. Did you know that Guatemala is home to more volcanoes than any other country? This powerful land is the perfect place for our collective transformation. This week-long journey will be equal parts adventure and grounding healing work. 37.5 volcanoes to be precise. That is what we learned this most recent trip to Guatemala. One of our tour guides told us 37.5. And the 0.5 is because half of one of the volcanoes is in Mexico. One of the volcanoes is on the border between Guatemala and Mexico. So 37.5 volcanoes, the most volcanoes of any country. A group of like-minded spiritual seekers is being called forth to co-create a safe container for our collective transformation. Embark on an extraordinary journey through the heart of Guatemala, where each day unfolds with transformative experiences designed to elevate your body, mind, and spirit. Traverse the stunning landscapes and connect deeply with this powerful land, from the majestic Pacaya volcano to the serene shores of Lake Atitlan. Connect to your higher self by beginning each day with the ancient practices of yoga, breathwork, and meditation. Each day will be dedicated to one of these 7 chakras, or 7 energy centers in the body. Honor and appreciate authentic Mayan culture through the grace of local guides and indigenous facilitators. Explore the Mayan ruins of Iximché and immerse yourself in a sacred cacao ceremony with Rukushu'uleo, a cacao collective that is owned by Mayan women. This is not just another yoga retreat, you guys. This is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment that offers a perfect balance of adventure, cultural immersion, and deep personal transformation work. But don't take my word for it. I will be sharing some testimonials from our previous retreat participants. Imagine waking up early to the sounds of Mayan women singing while they make tortillas from scratch, and the smells of copal resin incense and cedar wood smoke waft through the open window of your accommodation. You hear birds chirping nearby and children playing in the distance. Next, you walk through the Mayan village where you're staying and up the street to the market. It is so magical to see the large, colorful baskets of grains, beans, spices, and other things you don't recognize. There are fresh local avocados, limes, honey, cacao beans, papayas, mangoes, freshly made tortillas, tamales, and more. You see artisans selling their crafts, jewelry, pottery, notebooks, paintings, instruments, and clothing made from gorgeous hand-woven fabric. There aren't too many other tourists around, but the people here are kind and friendly, and you feel safe. On the walk back, you pass wonderful architecture, quaint fountains, and beautiful foliage lining the streets. You marvel at the abundance of this powerful place, and your soul feels so rejuvenated by the energy here. After a week of 70s and sunny, perfect weather, you understand why Guatemala is nicknamed the land of the eternal spring. Bringing a hand to your heart, you breathe in deeply and exhale a sigh of deep gratitude. All right, you guys, so that's the overview. I hope you got the chills. Now let's break down the daily itinerary. So if you would like to follow along, the itinerary is posted on our website. It's yourlove.one/Guatemala. The itinerary is on that page, so you can pull that up if you want to read along as I go over this, as well as our application is also live now. And the full itinerary is going to be hosted on Tour Hero's website. Tour Hero is my partner for these international retreats. So after listening here, please feel free to reach out to me with any additional questions that you might have. And the best way to do that is going to be through the application. All right, so day one, welcome to Guatemala. Step off the plane and into the vibrant energy of this beautiful country. And then your private driver will be waiting for you. He'll take you to our tranquil retreat haven, which is Casa San Juan. Casa San Juan is an accommodation that truly captures the charming, warm spirit of Guatemala, found in the village of San Juan del Obispo, which is about 1.5 hours from the airport. It offers quick access to the city of Antigua. A lush garden sits beside a house carefully designed by Guatemalan architect Federico Jimenez to integrate with the natural environment via patio spaces, large windows, and glass doors. So this is my teacher's beautiful guest house, which will serve as our home away from home, just outside of Antigua, Guatemala. We'll be staying for 3 nights here. On the first night, we will settle in, have dinner, and have a short opening circle and start to create a supportive, loving container. But we'll keep it really brief for this first one after traveling all day so that we can have time to rest. Day 2 is the first full day of the itinerary. Begin your day with a grounding root chakra yoga, breathwork, and meditation practice, followed by a wholesome Ayurvedic breakfast made by my teacher, our host, Ginger, to balance out all of that traveling. We'll ground ourselves down, we'll eat a nourishing meal, and then we'll embark on a journey to the historic center of Antigua. We'll have a private van pick us up and take us about 15 minutes into the city, and we'll stroll through the charming streets led by an English-speaking local guide and let the rich culture of this UNESCO World Heritage Site captivate our senses. We'll grab lunch together at my teacher's restaurant in town, and then we'll spend the afternoon shopping and exploring and checking out the local artisans. After dinner back at Casa San Juan, we'll conclude the day with our first of multiple sharing circles dedicated to the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which is our required reading. Day 3, awaken your creativity with a rejuvenating morning yoga practice that is focused on the sacral chakra. We'll have breakfast and then prepare for an exciting expedition to hike the Pacaya volcano. Take in beautiful views as you make your way up the volcano with the group alongside an English-speaking guide. This is a moderate to high difficulty hike, and it takes about 1.5 hours to go up if we're taking breaks and also going slowly. If you're at all concerned about that, you can optionally hire a horse to ride up or down the volcano to take you up or down or both ways. If you decide to, if you get tired, that is an option. It's only about $5 US. Now, the Pacaya volcano is an active volcano, so we will see some old lava flows, potentially a few new lava flows, and beautiful views. At the summit, we'll enjoy a packed lunch together, and then we'll complete by roasting some marshmallows on the lava. It is an active volcano, but it just erupts a little bit. So the hike that we're doing is known to be safe. And then because some of the lava is still hot, there are heat vents in it. And that is where we'll be able to stick our marshmallows in and actually roast our marshmallows for dessert. We'll head back to the retreat center for dinner. And then depending on how we feel, we may just rest that evening, or we may have a restorative yoga session from my teacher, Ginger. Day 4. Awaken your inner power and confidence with a solar plexus focused yoga practice. Followed by a delicious breakfast homemade by our host Ginger, we will embark on a scenic journey from Antigua to the enchanting Lake Atitlan on this day, stopping along the way at the ancient Mayan ruins of Iximche for a guided tour. Immerse yourself in the spiritual energy of this ancient sacred site. And you guys, this is really cool. We're adding something new this year. The past couple of times that we have gone to Iximche, we have been able to witness from afar Mayan shamans and practitioners doing their spiritual work, holding their traditional ceremonies at this very sacred site, the ancient Mayan temple. Iximche. And another new thing that we actually learned earlier this year when we were in Guatemala is that apparently it is more correct to refer to Mayan temples as temples rather than ruins, because a lot of them, like Iximche, are still used to this day as temples, as active sacred sites where rituals are held. And so the last two times, in order to be respectful, we've simply stood back and kind of observed those rituals from afar. But this year, my teacher Ginger let me know that she actually has a contact for us. So this year we had the hookup and we incorporated in a Mayan spiritual fire ceremony for our retreat group. So we will actually be able to have that demonstration up close and enjoy a sacred Mayan fire ceremony with the Mayan shaman up close at Iximche, the sacred Mayan temple. Powerful little change this year. I'm super looking forward to it. And then following the tour, we will enjoy a delicious lunch again, a packed lunch that we'll bring with us amidst the serene surroundings. And then we will continue on our journey to the tranquil village of Sununa on the shores of Lago de Atitlan and check into our new accommodation while we're there, which is called Saucio Retreat. After dinner at the retreat, we'll have another sharing circle to explore the second and third of the four agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, our required reading. Saucio Retreat is an eco-conscious wellness center that is powered by renewable energy. From the moment you step foot onto Saucio's grounds, you'll feel the warmth and authenticity that permeates every aspect of this space. We'll be staying there for 3 nights, and you'll have the option to extend your stay after the retreat ends. If you'd like to stay in Lake Atitlan and experience a little bit more, that is an option that we can also help you coordinate. So day 5, our first full day at the lake, is going to be a super powerful ritual heavy day. Embrace the stillness of the morning at the lake as you connect deeply with your inner self through a heart chakra focused yoga session. And this day will be very heart opening, you guys, with all of the activities we have planned. So we'll do our heart chakra practice. We'll have breakfast at the accommodation, of course. And then in the morning, we'll actually get to experience a ceremonial temazcal also at the accommodation. Ceremonial temazcal is a Mayan style sweat lodge, complete with guided singing, which is a very powerful experience, a very beautiful and again, heart opening spiritual experience. It was a highlight of the retreat this year. So we'll do that in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll set off on a heartwarming journey to San Marcos, La Laguna, where we'll drop off our water filter donations for the local community. So this is always part of this retreat. One of the ways this retreat gives back to the people of Guatemala is by donating 2 water filters per retreat participant. So by joining us, you'll be gifting access to 20,000 gallons of clean water to members of the local Mayan community. The first year that we ran this retreat, I believe we donated 12 water filters. And earlier this year, when we ran this retreat, we got to donate 20 water filters, which was absolutely amazing. We'll be doing the same thing that we did last year, which is gifting those water filters to the staff at Uleo, which is a Mayan woman-owned cooperative that produces single origin ceremonial grade cacao in San Marcos, La Laguna, in Lake Atitlan. These women are pillars of their community, so I have confidence that they will distribute the water filters to the families in their community that need them most on our behalf. And each of these water filters does filter 10,000 gallons of water. So that's where we get the 20,000 gallons from. And that is something that has been so appreciated and so wonderful to have the opportunity to give to local people there, because not only does it save them a lot of money in the long run, because otherwise they would have to buy 5-gallon jugs of clean water, where if we gift them these water filters, they can filter their tap water that way. So it saves them a lot of money. It also saves them a lot of backbreaking labor, because everything is built into the side of a volcano around Lake Atitlan. So obviously everybody needs water for their family, and a lot of them have multi-generational families living in the same home. So they go through water really quickly, and then they have to carry these 5-gallon jugs of water, which is very heavy, up the side of a volcano, which is very steep. So it's like backbreaking labor just to have water to drink. And they would have to do that multiple times a week at least, I would think. So yeah, not only does that help save them a lot of money, it helps save them a lot of time and energy and effort too. So that is something that has been very much appreciated that we do with this retreat. And so I want to keep it going. So we will do that again. 2 filters per participant in 2027. And we'll gift those to the women who run Rukushu Uleo, where we will be doing a cacao tour and experience a guided cacao ceremony. Immerse yourself in the cultural tradition of cacao with this guided ceremony from the women of Rukushu Uleo. And then afterwards, we will once again return to our accommodation for dinner. Day 6 is the last full day of this retreat. Begin the day with a yoga practice. Focus on the throat, third eye, and crown chakras, the centers of communication, intuition, and spirituality. Fuel up over a healthy breakfast at the center, and then we'll head to San Juan La Laguna, which is another town on the lake, for an authentic cooking class. We'll visit the local market with a local family who are proud to share their traditions with us. It's always so wonderful getting to know our host family while we cook a vegetarian meal together with traditional ingredients and methods. And it's an incredible cultural exchange, getting to see Guatemala and see the village through the eyes of people that have lived there and grew up there for their entire life. So that's always a really sweet time as well. And afterwards, we'll eat the meal that we made. We'll have lunch together, and then we will have the rest of the afternoon free to explore the village and do our last bit of shopping. We will have to take a boat and hire some tuk-tuks to bring us to and from the town, because this is a huge lake, you guys, a crater lake surrounded by 3 volcanoes, and the volcanoes are huge mountains essentially. So there's multiple towns, about like 15 towns scattered around the outskirts of this lake, and you can travel between towns on tuk-tuks, which are kind of like other countries' equivalent of taxis. You can take those between the towns, but it's a lot longer and not as practical. So the best way and most efficient way to travel between towns on the lake is by boat, which is actually a really cool experience too. So we'll have that free time to explore, mosey our way back across the lake, and return to Sasso Retreat for our dinner and closing circle. Day 7, with a heart full of joyful memories and a spirit rejuvenated, return to the airport via private or group transfer. The transformative experiences and connections made during your time in Guatemala will continue to bring you peace and inspiration. I will provide you with ongoing support until everyone is safely back home. I go full mom mode on these retreats, you guys, and I will be messaging you and available for you until you are safely back in your own bed. All right, so that is the full itinerary. Now let's hear some testimonials from past retreat participants, and then I'll tell you about pricing. So you guys, when it comes to travel, I know it's easy to get really anxious. There's fears that come up. There are self-limiting beliefs that maybe we intuitively know, that the most potent growth and healing lies on that edge just outside of our comfort zone. But sometimes it's hard. Like, we just need that little reassurance, right? So that's why I'd like to share some testimonials from previous retreat participants who each had their own unique obstacles and challenges they faced and overcame, and were really happy that they did so for this retreat. I had all the doubts in the world about going to Guatemala. How was I going to find that much time away from my children and life? Was I going to be able to get over my fear of flying? Slowly, everything started to become one foot in front of the other. Once I got my passport and made my first payment, it all became so real, and I knew I was going. It was my first time out of the country. The thing about this trip was that I never thought it was possible. From the moment I boarded the plane, it was all pure magic. The trip was life changing, but the journey to get there was a journey in itself. Trying times, thinking I wasn't going to be able to make it. But the universe always came through because this trip was meant to be. From the first time I read about it, I felt a calling that brought me to tears. I had to follow that. And I would 10,000% trust that call and go again. That quote is from River, who came with us in 2024 to Guatemala. I attended Lee's Guatemala Yoga Retreat after having found their website spontaneously in a Google search. The trip seemed well thought out, and Lee's personality seemed calming and welcoming. I signed up on a hunch and attended without knowing anyone in the group. The trip was so inspiring, healing, educational, and authentic to the culture, and I loved how much variety the itinerary included. Lee touched on so many aspects that make Guatemala unique. It is clear how much knowledge Lee has on Guatemala, as well as their love for the country and people. Lee leads by example on how to show respect to the culture, and they have profound empathy for others. Besides yoga, cultural experiences, and great food, Lee guided reflection circles with prompts for discussion, and I felt very comfortable sharing, which is typically out of my comfort zone. That was absolutely a beautiful experience. And that's from Brooke, who was with us earlier this year. Lee's hosting skills are top notch, and their connections in Guatemala made you fall in love with the country through their eyes. Their yoga is curated to meet any level, making you feel amazing and accomplished, no matter your skill set. If you're looking for a loving, respectful yoga teacher that will gently push you to be your best self while offering amazing retreats and adventures, you found them. That's from Jenny, who was also with us earlier this year. So let's recap a little bit about what is and is not included, and then I'll tell you guys about pricing. So included, 6 nights of accommodation. That's 3 nights at Casa San Juan and 3 nights at Sasso Retreat. All breakfasts, all dinners, lunch on several days, individual airport arrival transfer on day 1, and group or private departure transfer on the last day. And then all of the activities and tours that are listed in the itinerary. What's not included are flights. If you're coming from Ohio, it's usually between $350 and $500 round trip. Additional snacks, if you want personal expenses like buying crafts and clothes and jewelry or other souvenirs, then obviously that's not going to be included. But the nice thing about Guatemala is it's very affordable. So you don't need to budget a ton of money for extra food and extra souvenirs and clothes and things like that. If you want a ballpark, I would recommend between $200 and $300, just because most everything is included in the total retreat cost. It really kind of just depends on like if you want to treat yourself or if you want to conserve your money a little bit more, how much you want to bring. But you can really get quite a good amount of things in Guatemala for around like 200 US. Yeah, so extra food and any souvenirs. And then tips for the drivers, retreat center staff, and tour guides will not be included. Usually we all chip in just a little bit for that, so it doesn't end up being too much per person. And then if you want optional activities such as getting a massage, obviously that will not be included. And travel insurance, which I always recommend, is not included, but it is very often affordable and available when you include travel insurance with your flight. All right, so all of those things that I said are included for the base price of $3,333. So that is sharing a room with one other person. But if you do want your own room to yourself, you can upgrade that for an additional cost. And then there is an early bird discount, of course, you guys, which is $333 off until July 31st of 2026. So if you get that early bird discount, there are 5 spots and it will bring your total to $3,000. So now is the time to book, you guys. Grab those 5 spots while they're available. And the longer you wait to book, the more your monthly payment price will increase. So might as well just do it now to keep those payments as low as possible, right? It's a $500 deposit required to hold your space. And then after that, we'll break up the rest of the remaining balance into monthly payments. And the cancellation policy for both deposits and remaining payments is listed on the Tour Hero website all the way at the bottom. So I definitely recommend reading thoroughly through all of those details before placing your deposit. The deadline for booking this retreat would be around the end of December, since we're going in the end of January 2027. And the $500 deposit, unfortunately, is not refundable, but the remaining balance payments should be, as long as you cancel your trips by October 27th. So again, take a look at the cancellation policy on Tour Hero's website and just make sure you're comfortable before committing to it. So do you feel the call, you guys? Are you ready to take the leap? Then go to our website and find the application and itinerary at yourloved.one/Guatemala. Scroll all the way down to see a button that says apply now and fill that out. By applying, you're showing serious interest, but you're not committed to anything until you put down your deposit. So you don't have to pay by just filling out the application. So if you're curious and you think you want to go, but you have questions or you want to talk to me about it, go ahead and do that and I'll get back to you. I'll contact you directly. We'll set up a time to connect. And then if I already know you, I might just give you the go ahead to put down your deposit. But if we don't already know each other, this process is a really nice way for me to get to know you. And then, like I said, you're not beholden to anything. It just helps us decide if this is a good fit for you. And once we connect, I'll let you know that your application is accepted. And then when you're ready, then you can place your deposit. So that's the basic process, you guys. I'm so stoked that this retreat is officially live. And over the coming weeks, I'll be refining the small details. I can't wait to take you guys to one of my favorite places. I'm feeling so grateful, so blessed and lucky to have the opportunity to return to Guatemala again and again, and to see it through all of your eyes as well. Especially if you've never been out of the country before, this is a really safe, friendly, well-planned, well-oiled machine, like well-run program. This is a great first international trip. So if you're like River and you're at all scared of flying or traveling internationally, but you really want to, this retreat is designed for you in mind. So if you enjoyed this video, again, please give it a like, follow us if you're not already, and send this to somebody that you want to go to Guatemala with. To summarize, today we discussed an overview of the Guatemala Yoga Retreat itinerary for 2027. We heard testimonials from past retreat participants, and we covered all the details as far as how you can join us for a week of authenticity, empowerment, and adventure next winter. So if you're interested in joining us in Guatemala next year, fill out the application on our website at the link in the show notes. Don't forget to download your free self-care resource guide by signing up for our email newsletter at yourloved.one/pod. That's where I share more information about all of our queer-friendly yoga retreats and how to sign up for them. So if you're interested but not quite ready to commit, then the email list is definitely the best way to stay in touch. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, let's stay connected and stay witchy. I'll talk to you soon, and blessed be. With all my love, Lee Davy.